And I remember as me and this girl were on the bus for our field trip, out of nowhere, she ended up grabbing me by my thigh and she said, Bubba, it's so big. And I knew at that moment what she was talking about. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba and welcome back to another really embarrassing, but I gotta say crazy story. So this story all takes place back in my grade 11 year. And in grade 11, I had this one girl that had a massive crush on me, but she was super mid. Like, I am not joking. Like, if I had to rate her from 1 to 10, she was ultimately like a 0. But one thing was for sure about this girl was that she was definitely majorly interested in me. And I had really no idea why, but for some reason, she was always interested in me and just always wanted to talk to me. And well, in some way, every time I entered science class, she would always be flirting with me. Obviously for me, I was not interested in this girl whatsoever. Like, I would have to be totally out of it and totally out of my game and lower my standards to below 0 for me to get with her. But I remember throughout science class one day, this girl ended up coming up beside me and she kept basically flirting with me and talking to me, and all my friends were laughing at me. And it's super embarrassing when your friends have to laugh about a girl that is so mid that is flirting with you. Like, it's just total embarrassment. But I remember there was one certain day during science class where she left me alone and she was just doing her own thing, and out of nowhere the teacher ended up walking in front of the classroom and said, all right class, so I didn't tell you about this yet, but basically we're going tomorrow to the aquarium, so I'm gonna be assigning partners for everyone, and you guys just, well, prepare yourselves for tomorrow. At this moment, I remember the whole class was excited because field trips were something that you don't get that commonly in high school. And obviously, since we were all excited, I remember I was like, you know, hyped up until the next day came around. Because I remember the next day when I got to school, I got ready to go for this field trip and everything. And when I walked into the classroom, there was a bunch of names on the board assigning who was whose partner. And when I walked up to the board and I saw my name matched up with the mid girl that had a crush on me in my class, well, obviously at that moment, I was kind of annoyed. I was super annoyed because I knew at this moment that she was definitely just gonna flirt with me the whole entire trip, and it's just not gonna be fun, and I'm just not gonna end up learning anything since I was being super annoyed. And it already started getting annoying when my friends looked at the board as well, and one of them walked up to me saying, Bubba, you're partnered up with the girl that likes you, bro. Get wrecked, bro. Like, seriously, dude? Like, really? Out of all the people in the class, I got stuck with this girl? I remember everyone after that got together in class and the teacher ended up walking us to the front of the school to get on the school bus. And me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't like school buses because usually the cool and popular kids would all sit in the back since they get the most privacy. And my teacher knew about this, and I guess for some reason he decided to change the way we get on the school bus. Basically, he would assign seats of basically the people that actually paid attention to the class and people that didn't pay attention. So all the people that weren't doing good in class would have to sit in the front of the bus, and all the people that, well, did good in school, they would sit in the back since, you know, I guess they have the privilege of being trusted. And when the teacher was walking around handing us what part of the bus we have to go sit at, out of nowhere, he ended up walking up to me and he said, all right, Bubba, so you're gonna be sitting in the back of the bus with her? Not because I trust you, Bubba, but I do trust her because she is a really good student. He literally decided to say that straight to my face with the girl standing right beside me. And I remember this girl ends up saying, oh, like, I'll take care of him. Don't worry. He's not gonna get into any trouble. I promise. Like, bro, who are you? My mother? Like, seriously? I don't know. It was super cringe, but at the moment, I wasn't really thinking about anything other than I just want to get on this bus and get to the aquarium and see how far away I can get from this girl. So that's what ended up happening. We got on the school bus, and when we sat down and the bus started moving, right away, this girl just kept trying to flirt with me, kept trying to talk to me, and she kept basically, like, I don't know, she kept trying to bring up conversations that really did not make sense to me. But I think one of the most oddest conversations were that she ended up telling me, oh, Bubba, did you know that, like, when it's really cold, your balls shrink? Wait, what is what I told her? Because, like, I did not know what she was yapping about, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. Talking about balls in the back of the bus is kind of crazy. I remember 20 minutes went by and she kept talking about balls, and one thing led to another. We finally got to the aquarium. And me, when we went inside, I remember we started looking around at, like, all the exhibits that they had in their aquarium, and I love aquariums. I think it's really cool to learn about, you know, water life, since we've only, like, actually discovered, like, what, 10% of the ocean in reality. So I remember I really found it cool seeing all these, like, cool exhibits and stuff, but I will say this, it would have been more enjoyable if I didn't have this girl right beside me yapping about how water creatures do the devil's tango. Like, for some reason, every conversation we had either had to do with my balls or devil's tango. And it just made me super uncomfortable. I did not know why this girl was so obsessed. Like, we were in grade 11. It wasn't something foreign to us. But I gotta say, one of the weirdest parts about this whole field trip was that I remember for one of the exhibits, we ended up going to, like, the dolphin area where, you know, dolphins would, like, you know, do cool tricks tricks and, you know, do a bunch of cool things that, you know, they usually show at aquariums. And I remember as I was seeing these dolphins like fly up and down and, you know, basically do all these cool tricks, out of nowhere, this girl ends up looking at me, the really mid girl that liked me for some reason. And she says to me, Baba, did you know that you make me as wet as those dolphins? What did you just say, bro? Is what I said. Because I just cannot register anything this girl was saying. But I gotta say, what she said right there was way out of pocket. I remember for the rest of the field trip, she ended up not saying as much since I kind of like, you know, gave that weird reaction. But she ended up quieting down, and me and her, we ended up just walking through the rest of the aquarium and having a good time, to be honest. It wasn't actually getting that bad since she wasn't yapping so much about, well, the Devil's Tango. But I think the weirdest part was what she did afterwards, because I remember towards the end of the field trip, all of us had to go back to the bus and we were assigned the same seats. And I remember I ended up going to the back of the bus with this girl, and me and her, as we sat down, we started to realize that a lot of students that came with us ended up not actually showing up back for the bus because a lot of them ended up going back to school early. I have no idea why, and I didn't know this was an option, because if it was, I would have taken that option to stay away from this girl, but sadly I didn't. So I remember a lot of the kids that were in the front seats and the middle seats were actually gone. The bus was almost empty in reality. There was only like me, the teacher, and like maybe 5 other kids, including me and the chick. And when we all sat on the bus, literally it was only me and this girl in the back, and everyone else was, well, gone. In reality, we basically had full-on privacy in the back of the bus, and well, as much as I would like that with any other girl, I was not happy about it with this girl specifically. I remember as the bus started moving and we basically started heading back towards the school, I remember I was just kind of sitting there just planning on putting my headphones in and just listening to music and try not to interact with this girl so she doesn't think anything more of us. But then one thing led to another. I remember it was getting really hot in the bus, and this girl, she wasn't saying anything, but one of the things that she ended up doing was she ended up actually like looking at me saying, Baba, I have a question. Yeah, what's going on? Is it really hot in here, or is it like just me? No, it's definitely hot in here. I feel the heat. Okay, well, since it's just us back here, I hope you don't mind me doing this. I remember at this moment, she ended up taking off everything. Like, I am not joking. She ended up taking off her hoodie, her shirt, and even got to the point where she took off, like I said, literally everything. To the point where I'm not joking, her full-on cherries were out in the back of the bus. And me, when I was looking at this girl, I'm thinking, damn, she's really mid, but she's got a nice pair of cherries. And at that moment, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I ended up basically caving, and I, well, got bricked. I got bricked from the girl that I thought was mid the entire time. She was flirting with me throughout the school year. And I remember as I got bricked, she looked at my pants and said, Baba, I understand it's warm in here, but you're bricked. Yeah, I wonder why, is what I said really awkwardly. And well, I'm not gonna lie to you, she ended up putting her hand on my thigh, and well, I think you guys know what happened. Me and her, we ended up doing the Devil's Tango in the back of the bus. This was honestly mind-blowing, and honestly, I did not know what was going on, but I will say this, it wasn't the first time I did in the back of the bus at this time, so I wasn't really complaining. But I will say this, during me and her doing the Devil's Tango, I remember one of the students at the front of the bus ended up basically standing up just to look around, and he ended up seeing us, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I got caught. And the teacher came to the back and basically told us to put our clothes on, and me and her, we ended up going straight to the principal's office. Honestly, since that moment, I was never allowed to sit in the back of the bus anymore. Honestly, kind of sucks because I actually enjoyed it back there, but at the same time, I lost my trust once more. Honestly though, you guys got to admit, if you guys are sitting in the back of the bus and the girl's not wearing anything and she has a nice pair of cherries, you guys are telling me you guys wouldn't do the Devil's Tango. Like, come on. If you guys would, then just fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.